Section 6.4 is called proportional reasoning. And when we're talking about proportions, what we first have to talk about is what ratios are. So ratios, we talked about at the very beginning of this chapter, is rational numbers, comes from that word. So ratio notation is notation that is written as B, or A divided by B in fractional notation. No matter how it's written, it's read A to B. It's a comparison is what it is. So a ratio is a comparison. There are two ways of comparing with ratios. There's a part-to-whole comparison and there's a part-to-part comparison. And these different ways of comparing ratios will come back up in Chapter 9 later on as well. So here's an example of that. If you have 15 students in a class and 7 of them get an A on the test, the part-to-whole ratio is 7 to 15. There's 7/15ths of class. 7 out of 15 got A's. You also could compare the A's to the non-A's, right? Part to part. So the part-to-part ratio of 7 to 8 is the A's compared to the non-A's on the test. So let's do an example. The ratio of boys to girls in a class is 2 to 3. What would be the ratio of boys to the whole number of students in the class, to all of them? Right, so I'm going to write it in fractional notation. So this is 2 boys if you sort of paired them up in groups with every 3 girls, right? So if we're wanting to turn that into the boys compared to the whole class, then we have the number of boys, still the comparison is 2, but then we have the boys and the girls combined on bottom, and that's where we get the 5. So this is 2 boys out of every 5 kids. Boys and girls combined.
And you got the 5 from just adding the boys and the girls.
Yeah. So imagine that you paired them all up so that for every 2 boys you had 3 girls. Well, every group then would have 5 people in it. All right, we're going to go the other direction now. What if you have 3/7 of the class are girls? Then what is the ratio of boys to girls? So we have 3 girls to 7 kids total. So what is the ratio of, and be careful about how it's being worded, the ratio of boys to girls? What is it? 4 to 3. There are 4 boys for every 3 girls in a group of 7, or something of that nature. Okay, I'm going to do one more definition and then we'll stop. A proportion then. A proportion is simply a statement that is saying that 2 ratios are equal. So the ratio of A to B, the ratio of C to D are equal ratios. That makes a proportion. And Beth, that's what you did in that last section, right? Is you created a proportion for your example that you were doing. And that's exactly what we're going to do with the last, I think there's 3 or 4 examples in this section. Okay, we'll finish that one next time.